Alright guys, welcome back to the dark and scary universe of Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War. We're on the map Fata Morga, which is a very nice looking map. It's a pretty cool map as well, and it's Eldar versus Orks this time. And the two opposing players are from the same gaming clan. This is the Gods clan, and we've got ALT as Eldar up against ESK for the Orks, but all the spectators who will be constantly chatting during this game, as you'll see, keep referring to this Orc player as Liam. I'm probably just going to refer to him as the Orks, but that's who this guy is. Now, we're going to take a bit of a look at the build orders for these players. We've got Guardians coming out as usual, 2 Guardian squads from the Eldar player, and we've got the aspect portal flickering to life. I'm not sure what he's going to be building first, but maybe Rangers. It's a pretty common choice these days to go Rangers. And for the Orc player, we've got a couple of squads of Slugger Boys, and by the looks, we've got a War Banner out first, as well as the Boys Hut building. I forget what you call that thing, the barracks basically, and 3 Slugger squads, I think, up against Rangers. Indeed, it is Rangers. So no power generator for the Orcs earlier on. We've got a Big Mech, so this looks to be quite an aggressive build earlier on. We've got 3 Slugger squads plus the Big Mech, and this actually can be quite difficult for the Eldar to deal with, because they haven't really got that much to fight against the Orcs in terms of combat earlier on, unless they make Banshees. But Banshees are a bit of a vulnerable choice. Farsi is good, but the Farsi takes a while to build, so you've really got to keep your micro-management up. And really be on your toes if you're facing against Orcs, especially with builds like this. You've got to really keep the Rangers and Dark Reapers out of combat as much as you can, get a listing post upgraded to a static defense, and take it from there. But over the western side of the map, we've got the Relic going down, as well as some Guardians arriving. Just going to say a couple of things about this map before we get too underway. There's a bridge in the middle, sort of directly linking both the 2 bases, but you can head around the bridges. There's a couple of small lakes in the middle, but it's a fairly straightforward map. There are relics to either side, on the east and the west, essentially, where there's the northwest and the southeast where the relics are, and 3 critical locations just spread out in a line between the 2 bases. But here we go. We've got Slugger Boys arriving at the strategic point over to the south side next to the Eldar base, and immediately we've got a bit of a rumble going on here, a bit of a fight. Rangers having to get out of the way of that mech, the Big Mech. But the boys are getting stuck in, axes and choppers going off right now. We've got several squads arriving here to actually do some damage. The Eldar have managed to get a single listing post up, and Alt is going to want to upgrade that if he's going to stand a chance at defending this. So we've got Dark Reapers arriving to lay down some firepower. He really needs to remove Fleet of Foot, and I'm sure you'll be seeing him do that very shortly. But again, I mean, the combat... The pressure is really on the Eldar. It's a bit more difficult for the Eldar in this position to survive, given that the Eldar player needs to sort of keep toggling Fleet of Foot on and off and keeping all his ranged units out of combat, and all the Orc player has to do is just give chase and keep attacking and do whatever he needs to do back at home. But both players will probably have Overwatch on most of the units that are in danger. As you see off in the background there, the Orcs have actually brought in a squad of Shooter Boys, and these Shooter Boys, despite being Orcs, and despite Orcs not being characterized as a shooty sort of race, the Shooter Boys, in game mechanical terms, do a lot of damage per second. And of course later on the Orcs can get flash kits, which do even more. They do an extreme amount of damage in terms of shooting. But here's Alt actually having upgraded a listing post, so this will actually help defending against the Orcs here. But he looks to be in a very bad way, under a lot of pressure here, because he can't really do too much with his units. Every time he gets his units into position, the Slugger Boys just show up to prevent him from shooting. And the Orcs being much better in combat against this type of Eldar army, it's going to be very difficult for the Eldar player to force the Orcs away at this point. So luckily one squad of Orcs has broken, and he's managed to fend off another group over there. He's lost his relics, so unfortunately the Orcs are ahead in terms of capturing relics. The Orcs have theirs over at the northwest side of the map. But yeah, again, the desperate defense continues. The Orc Slugger Boys just meeting it out in combat. Another squad has been broken in terms of morale, with those Rangers fortunately being left alone to get some shots off. And the Eldar are just playing it very nicely, staying out of combat and getting into just the right positions to defend here. Another Orc squad broken. We've got one remaining Orc squad intact there, which hasn't been broken in terms of the morale there. We've got a Guardian squad capturing the critical location over at the east, and that mech, big mech, is still smashing away at that listening post. We've got Storm Boys arriving, so Orcs, looks like Esk is really looking to put the pressure on with bringing Storm Boys in to try and steal the game here, but having to teleport away with this big mech. He's nearly dead. That big mech is nearly laid low here. He's got a sliver of health left. The Dark Reaper's giving chase with Fleet of Foot here, hopefully getting in range and taking Fleet of Foot off to be able to secure this kill. And Range is shooting away and finally taking him out. So very nice play from the Eldar. Very good defense. Wasn't actually expecting the Eldar to do so well there. The spectators actually had pointed out that the Eldar player had thought he'd lost, but then just kept playing anyway and has managed to sort of ditch the Orcs. But the Storm Boys are not letting up. They're actually attacking while the Eldar are out and taking this point right next to the Eldar base, just to the west of the Eldar main, just down the hill from it. Eldar player is looking to put in a bit of a counter-offensive, putting some pressure on his opponent by bringing in the Rangers there. And bear in mind, the only thing that can detect those Rangers in terms of units are the Big Mech, which has died, and the what do you call that? The Pain Boy, that Dr. Orc unit. I forget what you call it. But those things are later on, and you can actually detect invisible units with them. Just flipping over to the Eldar view so that you can actually see the Rangers as I showed you there. Dark Reaper's returning to the Eldar base, but not before the listening post is destroyed, so good work by the Storm Boys, actually polishing them off. A second squad of Storm Boys has been sent out from the Orc base, but the Rangers hanging back here to slowly pick away at that listening post. And they're probably not going to be able to kill it. It takes too long for the Rangers to actually get rid of that thing. By then, the Orcs surely will have had something to deal with it. But Stormboy harass continues back at the Eldar base. We've got a Soul Shrine going up, so finally the Eldar player can afford some tech, which is good. They'll need it later on in this game. The Dark Reapers trying to be wherever the Stormboy shot, but of course the Stormboys being a bit more mobile than the Dark Reapers, thanks to their sort of big rocket packs. So, really keen to see how this game goes mid-game. It's been off to an exciting start, and I'm sure you guys will agree. Alt has a large squad of Rangers there, so hopefully he keeps them alive and keeps them as a thorn in the side of the Orcs for the remainder of this game. Dark Reaper's getting in position, heading into the center of the map with the critical objective. We've still got a Guardian squad alive, capturing critical objectives over the right hand side. We've got what we're looking at here is the Relic, totally fested with what do you call those, War banners, because they actually boost Orc population and Orc resource, as well as being a static kind of defense. So it's great to place them around important points like that Relic. So over at the west side of the map, Esk, or should we call him Liam, has pretty much secured that whole area by putting War banners there, and he's also invested his generators there. So he's basically put all of his eggs in one basket in that one location, with all of his War banners, with his Relic listening post and his generators all stacked together in one big defensive compound. The Dark Reapers are putting a lot of pressure on that point below the ramp next to the Orc base. And back at home, one Dark Reaper squad has stayed behind to defend against the Storm Boys. But if the Storm Boys get into combat, they'll be able to kill the Dark Reapers. But again, the Dark Reapers, if that happens, can just run away fleet of foot and allow the listening post to fire back while the Storm Boys are on the wild goose chase, so to speak. So Storm Boys heading home. Maybe they can do a bit more of a defense here. This looks to be a webway gate. Interesting place for it. It's right over there by the critical objective, right at the 3 o'clock, and there are no Eldar buildings nearby. I'm not sure if the Orc player realizes this, but Alt is going to be a bit sneaky with the webway gate. Maybe he's going to be using that for a bit of mobility, chucking the Eldar forces in the webway and popping them out somewhere else where it's handy. It's always a good strategy. And the Storm Boys are headed off looking for another target. And they are not actually heading towards that webway gate, so it's going to be safe for now. Maybe Alt will even be able to get invisibility shroud, cloaking shroud up for his webway. Eldar forces in the center of the map here, probably going to be looking to respond to the Storm Boys, but the Storm Boys have not been stopped for, well, they haven't quite finished polishing off that listening post yet, but they're going to, and yes, they are. Actually managed to finish that thing off. And finally, the Eldar forces that have arrived to defend and really cutting into the Orks right now with superior firepower. Orks are really going to have to head out there right after they finish decapturing that relic, but that's just more harassment and more resources down the drain for Alt, and he's lost his relic now. He's going to have to use his Guardians to recapture that if he knows what's good for him, and try and get, yeah, he's doing that right now, trying to get back into the game in terms of economics. And the Storm Boys are still running at large. Alt has actually built a Scatalaser in the middle of his space to defend, so that's helpful. It will minimize the damage that the Storm Boys can do. But with those marauding Storm Boys, he's really got to keep watch. And wow, we've got a group of Fire Dragons being produced from the with the help of that Soul Shrine tech.